In this video, I want to show you guys the thinking process of what it takes to build a 7-figure YouTube strategy at the highest level for B2B brands. How can I say this? It's because one of our clients just recently did $600,000 and added new revenue over the 3 months of working together with us. And we've done this time and time again for a lot of our clients, but today I just want to show you guys the practical example of what we would do for a 7-figure B2B company so that you guys can apply it to your own business to increase more sales. I know him, you know him, he's got over 300k followers on Twitter, and over here I got a list of everything that we know about Clifton's funnel at the moment, his YouTube channel, his main competitor's YouTube channel, and everything else over here that we need to build this solid strategy. Now, before we talk strategy, let's talk about what the goals even are for this strategy in the first place. So first of all, it's to build your brand, right? Whoever has competitors that are on LinkedIn or Twitter, being on video is going to be one of the easiest ways for you to stand out right away. And as you build authority, you're going to be allowed to charge more premium prices. Second is to build pipeline, inbound leads, sales calls, close deals, so on and so forth. Third is to get YouTube to coexist and improve with your other marketing funnels. Now, a lot of people treat YouTube as a standalone lead gen machine, which to me is a big waste of money. YouTube could bring in so much more revenue in the beginning stages if you treat it as a sales enablement tool before it starts compounding results. Now, how do we actually achieve all these goals? Today, I'm going to be walking you guys through these core pillars that make a YouTube strategy successful for most B2B companies. So the first step is to establish brand associations, which means what do you want your brand to be associated with? For example, the company Nike is associated with greatness in sports, or McDonald's is associated with the feeling of happiness and family. So if you take a step back and think long term, what do you want your brand to be associated with? Second step is to get inbound calls through video content, which I'll be walking you through the system behind that later. And third is to install this into your current sales process or your funnel. So before we actually build all this out, let's just first look at his current sales process or funnel to understand how we can squeeze the value from YouTube instead of waiting for like 3 to 6 months for results to start compounding in. So this is what we're working with today. Clifton, his biggest marketing channel right now is organic Twitter. He has insane volume of posts. There was one time I even saw him posting 14 times per day, which is insane. Every tweet has an auto plug in the comment section that funnels viewers into his website. Over here, he has a post that reached 1.6k impressions that funnels the viewers down here into his website that has excellent copy that does the selling for him. His posts range about 1.5k to 9k impressions per post. Usually his best performing posts would be asking the public to engage with his question, and he just has a mix of content from trending to lifestyle content to attract and nurture more of these viewers. For LinkedIn, his content mix is quite similar to Twitter, but more LinkedInified, and if you actually read the content, you'll notice that it's more expertise focused compared to his Twitter, and he generally calls out his ICP more often compared to X. Now, the secret sauce to Clifton's funnel is his articles, in my opinion. These articles are tailored specifically for super warm leads who are already familiar with Clifton, and it just makes sense because the people who actively went on his website, clicked on his blog button to read his expertise are already invested into him, therefore are more likely to buy. And if you look into his website, he has excellent copy, enterprise design for sure. He calls out his ICP immediately. He does a classic VSL book a call funnel, and if you continue scrolling down here, it's just laddered with more proof, process, proof, and more process. Now that we understand most of what Clifton is going with, now I'm not very sure if he runs ads, I'm pretty sure he does, but with this knowledge in mind right now, we can actually tailor the YouTube strategy based on his current growth stage of the company so that YouTube can benefit his sales process right now instead of waiting for compounding results. Now, based on that, looking at his channel, I can tell that Clifton has been trying to build an audience through his channel using outlier tactics or super top of funnel videos like how to find endless tweet ideas fast, or 7 tools I use to run my $1 million ghostwriting agency, and so on and so forth. But because Clifton already has so much top of funnel through Twitter and LinkedIn, he doesn't really need to expand his audience on YouTube, which means gaining new viewers on this platform. Rather, he can just purely focus on conversion-based videos and videos that just establish him as an authority in the space. Why am I saying that he shouldn't expand his viewer pool on YouTube? Is because he would be fishing in the same pond as his direct competitor, Marco Ruiz. Now let's just quickly look at his main competitor and see why they're beating Clifton when it comes to YouTube. First of all is branded thumbnails. Consistency and coherency when it comes to branding demands premium pricing for sure. And the videos that they post right now actually have a funnel that leads down to their sales process. Marcos is also an authority in the Twitter space, and so it just makes sense for him to get this much viewership translating from that platform to this platform if there's coherency. And when it comes to leveraging what you already built from one platform to another platform, brand coherency is extremely important. When you look at the packaging or the concept of the videos, you don't want to make it hard for viewers from one platform to jump on the next. You want to make the messaging, the thumbnail, the branding to be very consistent with all platforms. And that's why Marcos is doing really, really well on YouTube, whereas compared to Clifton, for example. And so now you might be wondering, we're facing a pretty much impossible competitor to overcome. How the hell do we compete against someone else who is a direct competitor to us, but are also ahead on YouTube? That's where this framework comes in. YouTube is fundamentally a winner takes all game. You can only win if either you're first or better. What we want to avoid in crafting this strategy is to build Clifton's channel from the ground up. We don't want to go on the same path from A to Z, kind of like Marco Ruiz. What we want to do instead is leverage every single advantage that Clifton already had built through his other channels. And you can only do that through brand associations. You want to take viewers from one platform to another platform so that you don't have to start from scratch on YouTube anymore. So what is Clifton's core brand pillars? What does he talk most about when it comes to his content? One thing that I noticed that his fans find endearing about Clifton is that he talks about his dad a lot, how his dad raised him up to be this man who he became, and that he built this company to muster up fortune to kind of give back to his dad in a way. That's something that you can absolutely tie into YouTube content. Differentiation doesn't just nearly come from storytelling or messaging or how brands look. It also comes down to value of difference too. So one thing I noticed about Clifton's company that is measurably different to Marco's is that Clifton's positioning is more so on founder-led companies and enterprise brands, whereas Marco's is more for the general creators that want to build on Twitter. And so what we really want to do is to really amplify the fact that Clifton works with a specific caliber of clients that Marco's can't really touch. So now when it comes to association in terms of value, we want viewers, when they land onto Clifton's channel, we want them to immediately understand that this channel belongs to enterprise brands. And so we write down here. And finally, you want your brand to be associated with the service that you provide. So in Clifton's case, his offer is basically a full stack personal branding kit. He offers his clients all of this. We're not going to write all of that in here, obviously. So we're just going to do full stack personal brand. Now, the reason why this matters so much is because first impressions when you land on a YouTube channel is important, but more importantly, you want to build trust and something interesting for the viewers to actually stay in your channel. And what makes them stay is what makes them buy. Now, just so that you guys get an idea of what branding actually looks like when you tie all of those pillars down together, I got my team to make a thumbnail concept with 3 variations for titles that fits perfectly with Clifton's brand. Over here, we've got Clifton front and center of the thumbnail. Behind him is a big $1 million sign with a big underline with the green color based on his website. And the idea for this video, the whole concept of it is teaching CEOs and founders how to build a $1 million personal brand. I'll explain more why this video would work, but when it comes to brand associations and standing out, you can clearly see that this screams premium, this screams enterprise, right? And that's exactly what we want our viewers to feel when they first see this video or land on his page. We want it to be as clear as day that we're so different from Marco's in terms of looks, value, and brand. And that's why we take branded packaging extremely seriously at my company, Wyn Media. Now, how do we actually get inbound calls through video content for Clifton specifically? And like I said earlier, we don't want to build views from scratch. We want to leverage every single thing that we already have from other channels. So as I'm scrolling through his socials, I'm trying to find a post that did really well when it comes to his expertise. So this post is doing pretty well. The real benefit of personal brand is leverage. There's another article that popped up pretty well. There's this post that popped up really well. Distribution is the new equity. This can absolutely be a video topic because there's already demand for this. 99K impressions is very impressive on Twitter. Or AI plus personal branding equals the future. He can absolutely make a video topic around AI plus personal brand. As you can see, there's a lot of ways you can actually find video topics because you're just basically using what has already worked for you instead of other people and just making content around that. So now that we have a storage of proven concepts of content that we can produce on YouTube, we just tie that up and sequence the videos into a funnel. So for YouTube, we also use the top and middle bottom funnel, and how you sequence it is what particular goal are you trying to achieve with this video? If you want more views, you can make a training video or talk about AI. If you want to build more trust with your audience, you can make more middle funnel content where you talk more about your expertise, what you think, how the industry is changing right now, your insights, so on and so forth. But that's the boring stuff. When it comes to Clifton's specific situation, he has so much more to offer over just personal branding. I know him through a mutual friend. I know he's been killing it with his agency and working with enterprise stuff. And so the thing about Clifton's differentiation, he can talk about his experiences working with enterprise clients that his competitors don't have. And so right now, his best type of content that he can be posting right now is absolutely more middle funnel content and bottom funnel content, because he doesn't really need to build more of an audience. He has a massive audience on Twitter. So why use YouTube to build more audience when you can just build more revenue, right? I'm gonna write down over here, he can talk about scaling companies, founder-led sales, hiring, and hell, even exiting at that point. There's just so many things that you can talk about on YouTube that I see a lot of people limiting themselves to just their service. Now, you might be wondering, how does all this help with funneling clients to his service? If you really think about all this, his key service, personal brand, absolutely helps with all of these metrics, from scaling companies to doing better founder-led sales, even hiring A players, and what founders can do after exiting companies. Personal branding helps founders build and scale new companies after they exit their current ones. And so all these topics that Clifton can talk about absolutely translates back to his main service, which is personal branding. This is how you truly differentiate yourself from your competitors. It's based on what you do, what you know, what you can talk about, and what kind of value you provide for the public beyond just your service. Now let's talk more into the practical stuff. What is the next video that Clifton could possibly post? One of the tricks to get the most sales off of YouTube is having something that we call an organic VSL, which is basically where you break down your overview service, how you can help them, and what kind of tips they can take from this video to understand the caliber of your service. This video typically contains 2 CTAs, 3 to 5 case studies, and your core mission, why you started the company in the first place. But the trick to this VSL is to disguise the video as a valuable piece of content that people can save to watch later or share with their internal team. And so that's the exact video concept that me and my team have come up with for Clifton. The title directly calls out his ICP, CEOs and founders build a $1 million personal brand. And we've also come up with 3 title variations based on what's working on YouTube right now in 2026. Give me 10 minutes and I'll build you a $1 million personal brand, or whatever X minutes that you can take. Third variation would be watch me build a $1 million personal brand in 90 days. Now this is more of a challenge video, which typically rips for all of our clients, depending on the case study that he walks through, right? So it could be something like watch me build a $5 million personal brand for a CEO in 60 days or something. Could be better, could be lower, whatever, but it's still a very trust building challenge video. So for those who are curious what this organic VSL actually looks like in the video, what my team did here is we wrote a script based on Clifton's voice. We just extracted a bunch of Clifton's tweets, LinkedIn posts, and put it in our AI voice cloning system to get his voice dialed in and also understand his offer and put it all in here so that he can actually sell his service on the VSL. So I'm going to walk you through this script quickly to get a better understanding. So the hook goes, most founders think building a personal brand means posting LinkedIn quotes, going viral on Instagram, or hiring some 22-year-old to run their Twitter account. You cannot call that a personal brand, or worse, a founder-led brand. This is one of the tricks that I call triggering their ego. You see these people closing deals, shortening their sales cycles, and attracting A players without lifting a finger. This is basically his main offer. They all have one thing in common. They built their authority the right way. This is calling out the solution that Clifton provides. And I know this because we've spent the last 5 years scaling a $5 million plus business. Clifton is likely doing more than this, I think, but this is just based on our assumptions right now, doing exactly that for over 300 plus founders and CEOs. We've published over 100,000 pieces of content and generated over 50 million impressions for our clients. Again, all this info is listed on Clifton's website. So in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to give you the exact blueprint we use, so pay attention. Let's get into it. So the hook is just nice, short and sweet with his offer, his expertise, and his understanding of what their clients is actually clicking the video for. And the body is basically a list of questions in bullet point form for the creator to answer, because we don't want them to sound robotic on camera. We want the video to sound conversational. And if you pay attention, there are some points where we can insert these case studies in to back up our claims, a mid-roll CTA to get them to book a call real quick, and an outro that goes really deep into why they should really book this call. This is understanding the ICP's pain. This is demonstrating understanding and authority. This is understanding understanding their situation and like what they could unlock if they build a personal brand. And that's exactly what we do at Legacy Builder, providing the solution and booking a call over there. And this is his core offer right here. We can have your full content system launched in less than 14 days. I'll see you there. So as you guys can see, the script is very heavy on his offer because this is his VSL, but it's disguised as value because of the case studies and the conversational approach that we took in the body. And the beautiful thing about this video format that we do for all of our clients is it's very shareable. And because of that aspect, we absolutely milk this video into all of our sales processes. Now, remember when I told you earlier in this video that you don't need to wait for YouTube to start compounding for you to get results? This video will do the job for you if you know how to distribute properly. Now, how do we typically do this at Wyn Media for our clients? One of the best ways to use YouTube as a sales asset is to input this into your pre-call sequence, which means before any lead hops on a call with you, just send them this video through email. Get them to watch this along with your pre-call doc so that they can understand your entire process, build trust with you, and if they can actually see results on camera of how you do things for clients, the possibility of closing that lead becomes significantly more, because instead of looking through like your whole website copy or a pre-call doc where they would actively have to focus to consume the doc, we find that a lot of people actually just put this on audio and listen to this as they go on a jog or drive their car and so on and so forth. This is easy consumption for the general public so that they can understand how you do things and build trust with you during their free time. Another way that you can distribute this asset is through follow-up sequences. So instead of sending like a generic follow-up, like just bumping this up in your email inbox, just send them this to start a conversation. And again, I know this kind of looks intimidating and you're right for thinking that, but if you want our help to establish brand associations for your company, set up an inbound system through video content, and install this into your sales process to help you generate more revenue, then click the link below to book a call with me. We'll dive into your brand, look at your sales process, understand exactly what clicks for your buyers to set the system up for you and help you differentiate yourself from your competitors. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll be posting a ton more of these in the future. And yeah, just have a good day.